Hey gang, welcome back to Egotastic FunTime. Special video just for you and me. Recently, and this is, I know it because this has happened before. This is not new. Well, the conversation is new, but this type of thing has happened before, and it just goes all over the internet, and people get scared because that's what people do. We are humans. We can't help but project the worst case scenario on everything in our lives, and TV shows are in our lives and movies are in our lives, so we project the worst onto those. But Adrian Palicki just did a podcast, Inside of You podcast, with Michael Rosenbaum. Michael, of course, played Lex Luthor on Smallville. Great podcast. Check it out. But he just had Adrian Palicki on, and she was saying some scary things about the Orville, about her point of view of her experience on the Orville, and it just doesn't seem, something seems amiss. Something seems not right about this conversation. First off, there's absolutely no context at all, which is going to scare people. But we're going to go through, we're going to break it down. Adrian Palicki's breakdown right here. And I'll pause along the way so that we can get a little context, I can give a little thoughts, but without further ado, here's part of that conversation. Ready and go.
Now, you've done all these shows, and you're doing one now, and it's, it has to deal with space and a ship.
No longer doing that.
That got canceled?
We only did 3 seasons.
Is it?
He goes, it got canceled. She didn't say it got canceled. She said she did 3 seasons, and she's got more to say on that. Let's keep going.
Not going anymore?
I don't know truly the answer to that. I think that there's the talk that it could possibly be something that certain people want to do.
Okay, there's talk that certain people want to do more Orville. We know Seth MacFarlane wants to do more Orville. The crew wants to do more Orville. We've heard this from all of them. The cast wants to do more Orville. I've talked to Scott Grimes. He says he wants to do more. Seth MacFarlane told me he wants to do more. Penny Johnson-Gerald told me she wants to do more. Jay Lees told me he wants to do more, and he even posts on Twitter, hey, let's go back to space. Let's get the strikes over with so we can get back to space. And Mark Jackson told me he wants to do more. Even Ann Winters, whose character died on the show, said she would love to do more. So let's not forget about that. Apparently, maybe Adrian has a different point of view that maybe built up and turned the shade of her colored glasses from rose to poop. I don't know. Everybody's different. There's always that one person at work, but let's get more into it here.
But it's a really difficult show to shoot, man.
It is.
It is.
We shot 33 episodes in 6 years.
33 episodes in 6 years?
Mm-hmm.
How is that possible?
Well, let's give some context to that statement. And Michael's saying, how is that possible? We know how it's possible. How do we forget so quickly? COVID, worldwide pandemic, all of Hollywood was shut down for 1.5 years. It took 3 years to make the 10 episodes for season 3, but it really took 1.5 years, which is average. That's normal, but they had to wait another 1.5 years because of all of Hollywood was shut down. There was no work. Remember all the stupid Zoom call shows that were going on where casts were reuniting over Zoom, and they were putting that on television as if that was appropriate. Let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
She goes,
That's
She has a kind of an attitude. She doesn't want to get too into it, which is smart, but this alone is enough to leave people to make their own assumptions. Don't let people make their own assumptions. It's never going to work out, especially when it comes to entertainment. But very strange. That's a very strange vibe I'm picking up. My whole thing is picking up vibes from people.
33 divided by 6 is 5.2 episodes a year.
Not quite. The first 2 years, they did 26 episodes. 12 episodes the first year. The second year, 14 episodes. One of those episodes was actually filmed over in the first one, so really 13 and 13. But then, of course, there's the negotiations for the third season, and then a pandemic. So you got to get your context in there, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Was it expensive?
Yes. Mm-hmm. My estimations is that Orville probably cost about $10 million per episode. It's a big show. They shoot it like a movie.
Okay, so you're getting paid the same as an actor. So if you're only doing 5 episodes, it's not really worth your time.
You're not only doing 5 episodes. You did 13 episodes the first year, 13 episodes the second year, and then COVID. And there's no work for anybody. Though I do know Seth made it right as much as he could for people. Seth is a giver. He gives. He gave $6 million to the Actors Fund for the strike. That's a lot of money. That's more than anybody else.
No, it became an actual real issue because there would be so much time in between.
COVID was an issue.
Between seasons, because Seth wanted to write everything.
Oh no, Seth wants to write everything. I don't think anyone's complaining about that. But now that they've done 3 seasons, Seth has written a lot. There are other writers on the show that do great work, but I have always said since the beginning, because there's so much work for Seth to do, that he should hand over a lot more of the writing duties to the rest of the writing staff. Then he can give it the Seth MacFarlane pass, go through and make updates on all the scripts. Heck, maybe they do that a little bit already.
Himself. So it would just take so much time. And at one point we were like, we have to like fight the studio to like give us a holding fee or something, because, you know, Jay Lee was eating saltines and Gatorade at one point because we just couldn't afford anything.
Okay, let's give some context to that. Jay Lee eating saltines and Gatorade at one point because he couldn't afford anything. Jay Lee's already spoken, well, not about Gatorade and saltines, but he already spoke about money. He said, you know, people were giving him a hard time when he was doing it, but he took all of his Orville money and he produced his own film. He says people are saying he shouldn't have done that, but he did it. Atypical Wednesday, a great film. He did a great job, great cast, great story. The kid in the film is amazing. Check out Atypical Wednesday. Help support Jay Lee. You're going to enjoy the film. Let's not pretend you're not. But she's taking Jay Lee's personal journey, personal business that he's doing on his own, spending all of his Orville money to produce a film. He's doing great now, and bringing him into the his story into the conversation. He's not part of the conversation, so that's kind of unfair, using him as an example without any context.
It was horrible.
Wow,
it was horrible.
I had no idea.
Wait, so you play hockey?
Yeah.
Did you ever play?
Okay, so then she changes the subject, which is smart. Get out of that conversation, you guys. This just doesn't seem right. Now, last year, she was part of a podcast. I can't remember which one. And she said the Orville's done. But we know that's not true. She said it was canceled. And everyone went crazy. And it turned out that wasn't true. The Orville is not canceled. The renewal announcement hasn't been given yet. We're waiting on Disney. Bob Iger has recently said that Disney Plus is going to start concentrating on quality as opposed to quantity, because they've spent way too much money on all these shows for the streaming service. Some of them they should have spent money on, and then there's a whole bunch of crap they never should have spent money on. It's a waste of time, a waste of my time and your time. Quality, that's the Orville. So maybe they're saving up to produce hopefully at least 10 more episodes. This seems unfair. But anyway, last year she said it was canceled. Everyone went crazy. It turned out it wasn't canceled. They went through many more negotiations for a new season after she said that. So that was kind of unfair. I I'm getting weird vibes from her. And I got weird vibes from that previous podcast from last year. I interviewed her. She was lovely, very professional, fun, but I was getting weird vibes from her. We also do know that her and Scott Grimes had a whirlwind romance a couple years ago. They got married right away, which was weird. They're adults. Even Jessica and I, we got engaged after a year or so of being together, but we still waited another year for the engagement period to make sure that we were still cool with each other after a year before we got married. And we are. Her and Scott got married a couple years ago. And then all of a sudden, just a couple months later, she's filing for divorce. And then all of a sudden the divorce was off. She changed her mind, and then she changed her mind back, and they got a divorce. And they're working together. So maybe she has different opinions being there. She has to be there with her ex-husband. Even though they're both lovely people, I love Adrienne Palicki. I don't know her personally. I love her work as Kelly Grayson. I think she does an incredible job. I couldn't imagine anyone else coming in to play that role. But does this mean that when the offer comes to start filming the 4th season, do you think she'll accept it? I think she probably would, unless she's got some great gig going on at the time. And great gigs are hard to get. The Orville, she was talking about so much time, only 5 episodes or whatever. Every season they've done, they're getting an entire year of acting work. Most shows, you just get a couple months nowadays with all these streaming shows. It just takes a couple months. The Orville takes the full year to film, and then it takes a bunch of time to edit it and promote it and get it up. Yes. I do like the idea that she mentioned about, a holding fee wouldn't have been fair during the COVID situation because Hollywood was shut down. Holding for what? Giving you money to not go work on something else that you can't work on in the first place, because there's no such thing as Hollywood work at that moment in time. But between the seasons, they do take a long time because you got to write them and get them ready and stuff like that. I do like the idea of having a holding fee or releasing them from their contracts for a certain amount of time between seasons so they can get some more gigs done. Jay Lee was able, without being released from his Orville contract, to act, star, produce, and direct his own film, Atypical Wednesday. So I don't know what the problem might be for her there. But this seems a little bit like a betrayal. And I hate to say that because she's very talented. I wish her the best. But it seems like a little bit of betrayal for all the other people that want to keep doing the Orville. I understand she's her point of view is built up to a negative point of view, unfortunately. But everyone else seems to have had a great time. They acknowledge the hardship of the whole COVID situation, but the whole world acknowledged that. Some people don't anymore, which is weird, but it was a hard time for everybody. Especially for Hollywood. So this just does not feel right to me. So take it with not a grain of salt, no salt at all. Not even a couple flakes of pepper, you guys. This type of situation has happened before. She's got something going on with her point of view, and she expresses it when it's not appropriate. This can hurt. Well, it's not going to hurt the Orville. But it will get people all scared, and then the rumor mill starts, and people are trying to find their clicks. Oh, I need to get on the internet to find my clicks, that sort of thing. But thanks for sitting through this with me, talking it out. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't want to make any accusations as to what might be going on with Adrienne, because that wouldn't be fair. But I do have some weird vibes. But don't take it don't give her a hard time. She was expressing her truth at the moment. It just doesn't seem to be the same truth as everyone else that's excited to get working on this show again. I'll see you guys very soon. And remember, we all do better when we all do better. Love you. Bye-bye.
Egotastic FunTime. We're gonna have a great time. Egotastic FunTime. Give me all your money. Give him all your money. You will find it funny. Just give me money. I love money. Give him all your 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 money.